We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect.
With our Gurudev's grace, let's embrace like the greatest gift. Let's celebrate.
Chinmayanandam Sharanam Anudinam Shri Gurudeva Veda Shastra Paripuritam Bhava Sagar Udhare
जन भञ्जन सच्चिन्मय हरि ओम् नट जन रञ्जन मद जन भञ्जन सच्चिन्मय हरि ओम्
Chinmaya Hari Om, Hari Om, Chinmaya Hari Om, Hari Om, Chinmaya Hari Om.
गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
With our Guru's grace, let's embrace life, the greatest gift. Let's celebrate. With our Guru's grace, let's embrace life, the greatest gift. Let's celebrate. Madhusudana Madhava Madhusudana Madhava Muralidhara Keshava Muralidhara Keshava Nandanandana Yadava Nandanandana Yadava Muralidhara Keshava Muralidhara Keshava Nandanandana Yadava Nandanandana Yadava Muralidhara Keshava Muralidhara Keshava Madhusudana Madhava Madhusudana Madhava Muralidhara Keshava Muralidhara Keshava Yadava Madhava Yadava Madhava Madhava Keshava Madhava Keshava Neelamegha Sharira Neelamegha Sharira Nityanandam Dehi Bala Nandabala Gopala Krishna Pahi Pahi Neelamegha Sharira Neelamegha Sharira Nityanandam Dehi Bala Nandabala Gopala Krishna Pahi Pahi
प्रत्यस्तामितभेदाखण्ड पालित नन्द सुनन्द प्रत्यस्तामितभेदाखण्ड पालित नन्द सुनन्द नित्यद नारायण तीर्थ नित्यद नारायण तीर्थ नित्यद नारायण तीर्थ निर्मलानन्द गोविन्द नित्यद नारायण तीर्थ निर्मलानन्द गोविन्द बाल नन्द बाल गोपाल कृष्ण पाहि पाहि नीलमेघ शरीर नीलमेघ शरीर नित्यानन्दं देहि बाल नन्द बाल गोपाल कृष्ण पाहि पाहि
सन्ततमहं कुञ्जरमुखं शङ्करसुतं तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे सन्ततमहं वन्दे सुन्दरमुखं मन्तकातकसुतं तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजेऽहं 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 भजे तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे सुरेन्द्र महनीय गुणशीलम्
सेवित सुरेन्द्र महनीय गुणशीलं जप तप समाधि सुख वरदानुकूलम्
भावित सुरमणिगण भक्त परिपालं भयङ्कर विषङ्गमातङ्ग कुलकालं
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
कनककेयूरहारावळी कलितगम्भीरगौरगिरिशोभं सुशोभम्
कनककेयूरहारावळी कलित सुशोभम्
कामारिभयभरितमूढमदकलिकलुषकन्तितमखण्ड प्रतापम्
कामादिभयभरितमूढमदकलिकलुषकण्टितमखण्ड प्रतापम्
सनकसुकनारद पतञ्जलि पराशर मतङ्गमुनिसङ्ग सल्लापम्
सत्यपरमाब्जनयन प्रमुद मुक्तिकर तत्त्वमसि नित्यनिगमादिस्वरूपम् श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे श्रीविघ्नराजं भजेऽहं 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 भजे तमिह श्रीविघ्नराजं
श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
श्रीविघ्नराजं श्रीविघ्नराजं भजे
Hari Om and Namaskar. We request everyone to please set your device on speaker view to get the full benefit of our program. We will now invoke Puja Gurudev's grace and blessings with the Purna Kumbha and lamp lighting ceremony. Yes, start.
कर्मणा न प्रजया धनेन त्यागेनैते अमृतत्वमानशुः परेण नाकं निहितं गुहायां विभ्राजते यद्यतयो विशन्ति वेदान्तविज्ञानसुनिश्चितार्थाः सन्न्यासयोगाद्यतयः शुद्धसत्त्वाः ते ब्रह्मलोके तु परान्तकाले परामृतात् परिमुच्यन्ति सर्वे दह्रं विपापं परमेष्वभूतं यत्पुण्डरीकं पुरमध्यसर्गस्थम् तत्रापि दह्रं गगनं विशोकस्तस्मिन् यदन्तस्तदुपासितव्यम् यो वेदादौ स्वरः प्रोक्तो वेदान्ते च प्रतिष्ठितः तस्य प्रकृतिलीनस्य यः परः स महेश्वरः न तत्र सूर्यो भाति न चन्द्रतारकम् नेमा विद्युतो भान्ति कुतोऽयमग्निः तमेव भान्तमनुभाति सर्वम् तस्य भासा सर्वमिदं विभाति
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
आवरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
सर्वश्रुतिशिरोरत्न विराजितपदाम्बुजः वेदान्ताम्बुजसूर्यो यः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
चैतन्यशाश्वतः शान्तो व्योमातीतो निरञ्जनः बिन्दुनादकलातीतः तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ज्ञानशक्तिसमारूढः तत्त्वमाला विभूषितः भुक्तिमुक्तिप्रदाता च तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
अनेकजन्म सम्प्राप्त कर्मबन्धविदाहिने आत्मज्ञानप्रदानेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
शोषणं भवसिन्धोश्च ज्ञापनं सारसम्पदः गुरोपादोदकं सम्यक् तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
न गुरोरधिकं तत्त्वं न गुरोरधिकं तपः तत्त्वज्ञानात् परं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
मन्नाथ श्रीजगन्नाथः मद्गुरु श्रीजगद्गुरुः मदात्मा सर्वभूतात्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुरादिरनादिश्च गुरुः परमदैवतम् गुरोः परतरं नास्ति तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः।
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव।
(1987). That was the year when Chinmaya Mission Chicago held its first fundraising banquet in Willowbrook. Some of you may have actually been there and remember that. Here we are in the year 2020, 33 years later, hosting a virtual fundraiser and still carrying on the tradition. Since the first banquet, and for so many years prior that, we in Chinmaya Mission Chicago have had a firm and visionary leadership under the guidance of Sri Shankarji Pillai. Personally, he has taught me many things. It is my honor to welcome Shankarji, who is a servant of Pujya Gurudev for the over past 45 years. Shankarji.
Hari Om, blessed friends and families. Of all the centers in the US, we are most blessed with the guidance of our President Acharya for the last 27 years. I remember receiving a call from Puja Gurudev in 1991, informing us that I am sending you Brahmachari Sharan Chaitanya to Chicago Center and you will simply grow. The depth of his love and simplicity and humble personality has been a blessing for all of us. Not only we are blessed with his spiritual guidance, the beauty and value of his presence is always visible in the very presence of our center. We are grateful to Puja Gurudev to have the blessings of Swami Sharanananda for all of us, and we request Swamiji now to bless this occasion. Hari Om Swami.
समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Hari Om. My pranams to Puja Gurudev, Puja Guruji, and our Mukhya Swamiji, and to all of you. Really, I feel very grateful to Sankarji to always guide me, and I have seen many times I differ of what he tells, but I follow what he likes, but I see that at the end that is always true. So now I have no problem at all. Whatever Sankarji tells, I try to, because he has got a lot of wisdom. He has got devotion for Gurudev. So for me, there is not a problem. I always feel that there is somebody is there to guide me, tell me. I am very thankful to Sankarji. Today is a fundraising program, and funds means we feel that is artha. It is in Bhajagovindam, it is told, artham anartham bhavaya nityam. That artha is the anartha. Because of the wealth, always there is conflict is there. Even in the home also, there will be conflict between the couples because of artha, and forget the society and the country. And also it is told that artha will take us to paramartha. Artha will create anartha. At the same time, it will take us to lead us to paramartha. How with what attitude we use wealth, not only using the wealth, with what attitude, for what cause, these two things, what cause and with what attitude we use wealth. Depending on that, even the earning wealth and using it will take us to our divine nature, to take us to perfection. That is told in our scripture. I'll tell you a small story. There was a great saint, his name is Jayadev, and actually he's from Orissa, but other states also they tell that he belongs to their state. But in Orissa, we take credit that he belongs to Orissa. He has written Gita Govinda, which is very popular, and he's told that Lord, in one place he couldn't get a word, Lord Jagannath came and he wrote that. It is that popular. Because of that, it is so popular. And the king really loved Jayadev. He became his devotee. One day he called Jayadev to his palace and he treated him very well. And at the end, when he was about to go, he gave him a lot of wealth. Jayadev told, I don't need wealth at all. But the king insisted, he begged him, please take, please take. He took, and in that gathering, when he was being treated with so well, and he was being sought by the king, 4 thieves have come. They also attended that program. So nobody knows that they're thieves. But when Jayadev was given so much of wealth and he's going alone, these thieves, they followed him, and when he reached the outskirts of the kingdom, they robbed all his wealth. Not only he could have given, if he would have asked, they would have asked, then he would have given them. But they took all the wealth. They caught his hand and one leg, one hand, and they put him in a well where there was very little water. But he didn't die. He was lying there, a lot of pain, blood is coming out. But in that, staying in that well, he's singing the Gita Govinda, which is Lord is very fond of. Then the king was going through that forest for hunting, and he heard this Gita Govinda. They were so melodious, it was so observing. When he came near, he saw Jayadev, and he couldn't believe that he has no hand and one leg. Just for a few minutes, he had met him. He had given him all these things. Anyhow, there was no time to ask. Then he took care, and he became all right. But there is no hand, there is no leg. One hand and one leg is missing. Then one day the king arranged a huge gathering of all the saints, and he was able to give them all kinds of gifts and food and luxurious things. So a lot of saints came, and these 4 thieves also, they changed the garb, and they took saintly dresses, and they also attended that function. Jayadev one day told to king, it was for 7 days. Jayadev told the "O king, I want to meet all the saints and get their blessings." And then he came to the room where these 4 thief saints are staying. And when these thieves saw him, they were frightened that now he'll recognize, he will tell the king, then will be punished. But Jayadev, he also recognized the thieves, but then he went to the king and told, "O king, I want little favor from you." King told, "Oh, anything I can do for you. Now these 4 saints who are staying in that room, they are my best friends. You please treat them well and give them a lot of gifts." Because he was thinking that these thieves, they are stealing because they have less money. That's why if they are giving more money, they will not steal. That was his intention. Then the king called them, the thieves who are in the garb of saints. Then he treated them very well. And at the end, he gave them a lot of wealth. And when they were about to go, then Jayadev told, "Please send some guard because somebody may steal them. So please, for the protection, please send some security people." Then Jayadev and stayed in the city, and these thieves, they were going. And in the meantime, the people who are guarding them, they asked that, "How come you are so much attached to this wealth? You are saints, but you are so much attached." Because these people were talking to each other, how much you got, how much he got, like that they are showing. So from that, they understood that these are fake, not the fake word is now, it is going on a lot. So I don't want to use that word, but it was not really, they're not really saints, they are something else. So these policemen, they asked, "How can you become friend with such a greatly saint, but you look like you are not true saints?" Then they told lies that how they have given favor to Jayadev because he has stolen before, and this they had given favor to him. The king had told to kill Jayadev, but they only caught the fingers. So from that day, Jayadev became very obedient to him, grateful to him, grateful to them, the 4 thieves, and that way the friendship was made. These thieves, they told that thing to these things to to all the police people who were guarding him. Then suddenly the earth cracked into gift part and parted, and all these 4 thieves, they fell inside that hole, and then they died. They died. So this is the way how the thieves were punished, and because of the greed for wealth, they were punished. But if the wealth is used for right purposes, then one will get a lot of benefit. And I pray for Lord's blessings on all of you, and you treat wealth properly. Hari Om. do introduction to Swami Sarveshananda. Swami Sarveshananda is one of my best friends, not friends, my brother. And we have got a lot of closeness. And today I'm very happy. And I'm so grateful to Swamiji that Swamiji is present to inaugurate to preside over our function. And I'll tell just a few things regarding Swamiji. Swamiji, he's from Texas now. Texas word doesn't go well, but he's from Texas now. Okay. And if I'm not happy with that, I'll tell a great thing that Swamiji has come from one of the villages in Andhra Pradesh, and that village name is Madanapalle. I hope I pronounced properly. And from that village, G2 Krishnamurti is from that village. That's why Swami Sarveshananda is from a great village. Actually, if you tell him that he is a G2 Krishnamurti of our mission, it will not be an exaggeration. And Swamiji is really good in everything. Painting, he is fearless, he is courageous, ready to take any responsibility, and completely devoted to Puja Gurudev and ready to serve. I have seen him when Swami Tejamanji was not well in one of the camps. Day and night, Swamiji was there. He has to take classes. At the same time, throughout the night, he will remain awake to serve Swamiji. Personally, I have seen that there was one camp there in our Chinmaya Mangalam, and Swamiji has to remain awake late night because the people who are volunteers, he will go at the end, he will see what they are doing, and they have eaten food or not. But early in the morning, 4 o'clock, I am to go to the airport because the airport is far away. And the person who has to take, he forgot his keys. So now I'm stuck. I cannot go to the airport. But Swamiji has slept very late, like 2 o'clock. But he got up and he took me. It is more than 1 hour drive. And then he must have come and took the classes. Swamiji's way of working, I really rarely find in the mission, extremely devoted. And I request Swamiji to give the words of wisdom to all the devotees here. Hari Om.
Thank you so much for the loving words. I hope and pray that all of you are able to hear me clearly. So first of all, let me invoke Puja Gurudev, the entire Guru Parampara, and Bhagwan's grace on everyone here. My humble prostrations at the feet of Swami Sharanananda, and my pranams to Dhirenji, Jitendraji, and Swapnama. In this particular effort that we have all gathered today is the annual banquet, and the love that Shankarji shares and showers on us. It almost feels like, though I live in Texas, my heart is in Chicago. And that's how lovingly Shankarji binds us. Thank you, Shankarji, for having me here. And today, the topic that I have been given is Celebrate Life, Our Greatest Gift. The other day, I have this passion or love. I call myself a foodie. I love cooking and feeding. So I posted something, and it was not a festival. It was not anything. I said, this is what was cooked today. So somebody asked me on the chat, hey, Swamiji, what are you celebrating? So I said, we are alive and we are able to be there for those who need to be served. What more can be the reason that inspires us to celebrate? That is good enough. So in understanding this, when I informed one of our brahmacharis here that this is the topic, celebrate life, it is our greatest gift. So the first question that was asked, Swamiji, when everything around is going completely haywire, how do you want us to raise above that and be able to celebrate it? Where moving on from today to tomorrow, moment to moment is becoming difficult. You have a tall order in asking us to celebrate it. How does one even come to think about celebrating such an event? My way of looking, which is guided by the Upanishads, which is guided by Bhagavad Gita, it says that the best way to be happy is when we can count our blessings and be there for another person, another family, another life, and be able to serve them with all the blessings that we have. When we are ourselves in chaos, it may not look like a possibility. There is a experiment, most of the Yuva Kendra that we have camps, to teach them the easiest method is to create a workshop environment where they have a hands-on and they can experiment and learn it through that. So this experiment is, about 80, 90 Yuva Kendra people. So I gave them balloons and they had to fill air, tighten it, tie it down. I gave them markers so they can write their names on it. They were all same color balloons, same color marker. After writing it, I said, go into this room and drop all these balloons and come on the other side. Then I said, all 90 of you get into that room and you're given about 30 seconds to find your balloon with your name in it. And the surprising thing was all 90 after their 30 seconds could not find it. Then I said, how about all 90 of you stand in a circle, find whatever balloon comes in the hand, and you have to reach out to the person, whosoever that name is there, and hand it down to them. And you'd be surprised, within around 35 to 40 seconds, the entire room filled with balloons were emptied out and each person got their own balloon back. When there is chaos around, the best that we can do, the best way to celebrate here doesn't mean that, we jump around and have a party and dance. Yes, that is an exaggerated expression of that celebration. But to celebrate is to see the joy in someone else's eyes. Being a teacher for last so many years, I find that my greatest joy is when I'm teaching and when I can look into the eyes of the students and there is that spark of understanding. That moment is worth celebrating. So celebration has various expressions. In these times that we are going through, the best way to celebrate is when we can reach out to another person and provide solace, stability, peace, and maybe even some resources that can provide stability to the other individual. Now, if we have to provide that kind of stability to the world around us, then we need to find a means, a source to hit that stability ourselves first. And the way we can do that, it's a very beautiful idea or a concept. The way we can do that is when we look at the surroundings, people, environments, and experiences, instead of looking at the environment as a problem, a crisis, or a situation, if we can look at them with the idea or attitude of how can I connect with that environment in being a solution for that environment. And the greatest inspiration is Bhagavan Shiva himself. That when he saw that after churning the Milky Ocean, the entire environment was polluted with this halahala, he was invoked and he was requested to bring in a solution for that situation. He scooped it all up, put it in his throat, giving a pleasant environment to the entire 14 lokas, and he himself digesting that poison, keeping it safe in his throat. So however difficult the situation that I may be going through, if I can provide and be a solution for someone else, and in their eyes, when there is that stability, peace, and joy that you can see, I tell you, that is the joy which inspires the mother to serve the entire family day in and day out, especially when we are all stuck in the home environment where morning breakfast, afternoon lunch, then some snack, then something in the evening for dinner. Constantly there is work, constantly there is, but what motivates that mother to constantly be there and provide? It is the joy that they see in the eyes of their family. Now, if we can expand that and be there as a solution for someone else in our life, it can be a neighbor, it can be a system. And into that system, my mindset should be that I need to be a solution provider for this environment. Rather than looking at the solution, looking at the situation and running away, if I can evolve to be that solution provider. And in order to do that, the best, there's this Tarangini series, Gurudev has written this short stories. He talks about, the story is long, I'll cut it short. The story is where in hell, everybody seems to be, in Naraka, everybody seems to be enjoying it. And the person who was being introduced to that Naraka environment, he was shocked. How come in Naraka there is so much of joy? So the situation was that there is a dining table and everybody is served food, but being Naraka, their joints at the elbow was sealed. They cannot bend their hands to eat. But still they were enjoying it. How? So they would pick the food and feed the next one. And in that way, everybody feeding each other. Finally, when it comes as a paid forward to feed somebody feeding you as well. So if in these situations we can go through, I think, let us not give in, cave in, because as humanity, we have gone through several such situations before and we have only thrived. We have come across with such genuinely inspired race of people that come what may, we land on the top. And we have thrived. We have thrived after the World War. We have thrived after several pandemics. This also, as Gurudev puts it in Bhagavad Gita, this too shall pass. But coming out of it, how strong, how stable, and how accommodating we are to be that solution for someone else is a choice that we have to make. And that becomes the crux of what we learn and what we teach to our Balavihar children in the Balavihar courses all through these 13 years. It was nice being with all of you. I really thank the loving way which our Swami Sharanananda introduced me. I wish I could have been there with all of you to celebrate this moment. And the first thing I know, as soon as all these limitations of pandemic situation would be removed, I would be eagerly waiting to see all of you in person. Thank you for having me. And it was my delight to see all of you, at least in this mood. May Gurudev, may the entire Guru Parampara and Bhagwan's blessings be on each one of us to have that stability and to be that solution for someone else in our lives. Thank you. Hari Om. Back to Rajulji.
Thank you, Puja Swamiji, for that very inspiring message. It was really nice to hear that. Before we introduce our MC for the cultural program, we'd like to mention that our children put in their hearts and full effort putting together the cultural program, chantings, bhajans, and dances. Please forgive us in advance if there are any shortcomings on our end. We will now begin the cultural program portion of the evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sangeeta Rangala. Sangeeta ji is an ER physician who also runs a clinic for abused children in Naperville, Illinois. She is also a mother, a choreographer, a dancer in the Odissi and Kuchipudi styles. She has emceed programs for World Hindu Congress and Maharudram. She and her family attend our Badri Center regularly. Sangeeta ji.
Hari Om. Tonight we're talking about celebrating life. And what better way to do this than through art? We're fortunate to come from a culture where every form of expression has grown from a spiritual center. And today we continue that tradition. During the course of this evening, you'll be seeing 5 artistic creations involving children, adults, and professionals from all of our centers, all based on the lessons we learn through Chinmaya Mission. So first, let's hear from a group of Balavihar students and graduates, now become teachers, who came together to celebrate life even during COVID. In the 15th century, poet Narasimha Mehta wrote the beautiful Vaishnava Janato, describing a true Vaishnava as one who respects the entire world, who feels the pain of others and helps those in misery, who avoids negative emotions and worldly attachments, whose thoughts, words, and actions are pure, the virtue of whose soul liberates all who follow. Vaishnava Janato by our own Balavihar students and graduates from multiple centers. Thank you.
वैष्णव जन को तेरे कहिए जे पीड़ पराई वैष्णव जन तो तेरे कहिए जे पीड़ पराई जाने रे पर दुखे उपकार करे लोए पर दुखे उपकार करे लोए मन अभिमान ना आने रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे के निरे निंदा न करे के निरे निंदा न करे के नीरे निंदा न करे के नीरे सकल लोक मां सहुने वंदे निंदा न करे के निरे वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे वाच काच मन निश्चल राखे धन धन जननी तेनी रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए
समदृष्टि ने कृष्ण त्यागी समदृष्टि ने कृष्ण त्यागी पर स्त्री जेने मात रे समदृष्टि ने कृष्ण त्यागी पर स्त्री जेने मात रे जीवात की असत्य न बोले पर धन नव जाले हाथ रे वैष्णव जन तो तेने
माया व्यापे नहीं जेने दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे मोह माया व्यापे नहीं जेने दृढ़ वैराग्य जेना मन मारे राम नाम ताड़ी लागे राम नाम ताड़ी लागे सकल तीरथ देना तन मारे सकल तीरथ देना तन मारे वैष्णव जन तो तेने रे कहिए
कपट रहित छे वर्ण लोभी ने कपट रहित छे काम क्रोध निवारा रे भण नर संयोधनो दर्शन करता कुल को तेरा तारा रे
वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए पीड़ पराई जाए पर दुखे उपकार करे कोई मन अभिमान आए वैष्णव जन को
Hari Om. Love and pranams to all of you. Let me begin with a brief history of our mission in Chicago. For the very first time, Pujya Gurudev's visit that took place in Chicago was 1979. And following Swamiji's visit, some of us families were fortunate enough to get his guidance. And we started few Balavihar sessions here and there in our homes. And this activity continued for a couple of years. The number of families were gradually increasing. In 1981, we were able to have a very good youth camp for the first time by mission in Chicago. And in 1983, we had a family camp by Pujya Gurudev on Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 in Monmouth College. It's about 150 miles away, but it was very well attended. It was a very big event for the entire Chicago region. And these activities, with all these initiatives, increased considerably. And our number of attendants in Balavihar and study group programs were really growing substantially in our community. It was imminent that we would be needing a center-based activity arrangement for our community. In 1987, we bought the Badri property, and it was none other than Pujya Gurudev himself was available for us to come to Chicago and lay the foundation for the Badri Center. It is historically significant to understand that it is Pujya Swami Chinmaya who put the foundation stone for the very first mission center in Badri Narayana Sthapana and inauguration of the Badri Center was conducted in 1993. And our activity center was substantially growing. With the introduction of the center, the number of families taking part in activities were increasing by every week. Instead of an expansion was being discussed, instead of expanding at Badri, our thought was to have this activity continue in another part of our community so that even more families can participate, and that we can see that was the very right thought by all of us, that in the north side of Chicago, our Balavihar activity started in Libertyville in 1999. And within a short period of time, there also the growth was substantially high, and progressively the number increased. And in 2004, we bought the Yamunotri property. And Radha Krishna Murti Sthapana was done in 2007. And the Murti Sthapana was done in 2008. And in 2007, we had the Yamunotri Center established and opening ceremony was conducted. So this is the history that was coming through. And during this period, there was a lot of requests from the city area of Chicago to have activities to have happen there. So in 2015, a group of our families started Balavihar activities in the Chicago city. Pujya Swami Sarupanji has named that center Gangotri. So, and that center also has substantial growth. They are leasing the facility and the classes are going on every Sunday. Between the three centers, I must say that we must have at least 1,000 children taking part in Balavihar activities every week. So we have Badri, Yamunotri, and Gangotri in Chicago in our community. So this is a historical perspective of our center. Now, I just wanted to give you some status that of our plan for as we see what the mission is. As we have informed you in the last banquet, we have two major projects that we are engaged in. One is the expansion of our Badri Center. This COVID condition that we are all experiencing has put us in a little bit of setback. Under these conditions, our board of directors unanimously decided that we will carry out this expansion plan in two stages. Our design for the entire expansion plan is almost 100% complete. And the first phase is definitely the completion of a new residence for our Swamiji. And this must have the highest priority, as it is, we all know that it's a 160-year-old house that we have for our Swamiji to stay there. And also we are using the same old house for our activities as well. So the urgency of rebuilding and creating a new residency for Swamiji can never be understated. So in the second phase, we shall undertake the remaining plan as we have designed to complete the Badri expansion. Currently, we are in the process of submitting our plans for approval from the DuPage County, whether it will be phase 1 that they will be approving for permit, or it is phase 1 and 2 together that they will be approving for permit. Depending upon that, definitely as soon as this process is complete, we will be starting the construction plan of Swamiji's residence in Badri location. I want to mention one very important thing. We cannot afford to have any interruption of our activities during this construction period. So it becomes necessary that we need to find an alternate arrangement in the very vicinity of our Badri location that our Swamiji's residence can also be arranged. And that is also being looked at very earnestly by all of us. The possibility is very good that we could have another facility available, which some of our devotees are looking into acquiring and providing for the mission for Swamiji to stay and still continue the activities in our Badri location during the construction phase. This is a very important point that I want all of you to know. The second project that we had informed you all is something which is very much in line with the service of the mission for the community. In the spirit of service alone, it's a noble project that we will extend our service to the seniors of our community that we have here. So Chinmaya Smriti project that was presented to you, there was substantial response from many of you there, and we have all that is on our file. So the design plan, architectural design and discussion is currently going on. We want to confirm to all of you. And I just want to restate some basic financial model and the value of Chinmaya Smriti, that it is a no-cost service undertaking by Chinmaya Mission. It is not an investment opportunity for income for the mission, but at the same time, the participants will provide the finance. And when there is a change of occupancy, that provision of the funding will be refunded with a minimal contribution to the mission. We have explained all these things before. I'm restating all this one more time for all of you to understand. So in this respect, the participants who are looking for this accommodation will not have any financial investment necessary unless it is being refunded when there is a change of occupancy. And the living expenditures, this facilitation of this service, it will all be on absolute cost basis. So this kind of a scheme and project, so far, no establishment has undertaken and provided. We believe that this noble thought behind serving our seniors will come to reality in the very near future. We have an architect engaged. We are discussing the design and development of this facility. And we earnestly hope that we will have the documentation prepared and the county's participation will take place. We will be able to have this become a reality maybe in a 2-year period. All of you who have signed up for it, we will have a presentation and some documentation available for you. We will communicate with you again. And if anybody in this banquet here that will like to participate, please let me have your information by email, text, or phone call. We will incorporate all of you in this system. And then we will have a very noble project undertaken by the mission for the service of our seniors. This is a dream for us that we want to make it happen. I have been having many inquiries, especially in the last 3-4 weeks. And I have been telling them that this is our plan and this will come to reality very soon. So these are the 2 major projects that the mission is undertaking to complete. And we pray to Puja Gurudev, let our effort will become productive and complete. I'm very happy to say that we have a few members of our next generation trying to take interest and participation and getting involved in our activities. And we are looking forward to this with a lot of positive fulfillment that this is what we need to make our vision true to the generations to come. And you will be seeing some of them today in this banquet. They will be addressing you. Just want to complete by saying that financial need can never be understated. We have been fully supported by the community all along. As a matter of fact, when we completed the Badri establishment in 4 years, the Badri mortgage was paid and we became debt-free. We are hoping that we will be able to overcome the setbacks and difficulties of finance that we have had through this COVID crisis condition. And we are expecting this particular banquet, with all your support, will bring us a big step forward in meeting our financial needs. Kindly be free to give whatever you can. We have had a good beginning to continue with this. Whomever we have approached directly, we have been supported very happily with substantial contributions. I would like to say that we are beginning with at least $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 to begin with. So this point, if we go forward with all of you who can do it, we will have a running total coming on our screen. And we will feel that it will be a very fulfilling undertaking for this banquet this evening. I just want to give you, we can give direct donation. You can provide interest-free loan. You may provide monthly contributions that we can use for our monthly operational expenditures. There are 2 accounts that have been set up. That is, one is Ananda Fund, another is Samarpan Fund for Yamunotri and Badri correspondingly. Those of you who would like to choose a monthly contribution to go into either of these funds will support the monthly operations. That will come to about 20,000-25,000 a month, that for each sender will be very helpful. So these are all the ways that you will be able to support our initiative in this banquet. During this event, when you want to make the donation, you can scan the QR code that is on your screen. You can make the donation through the website or contribute on the chat during this event, or please call the phone number that is being provided. So there are so many ways that your contribution can reach us today, and we will have a very highly desired result totaling up to a good amount of contribution coming to the mission at the end of this banquet. I would continue with it, and let us see. And my pranams to all of you. May Puja Gurudev bring us a close relief as soon as possible for all this pandemic suffering that we are going through throughout the world. With that prayers and my best wishes, Hari Om.
Ardhanarishwara, a form of the divine that is half female, half male, and celebrates both of these aspects. But it's also a concept that transcends gender, that allows us to celebrate the infinite forms of creation all around us, and yet see the single divinity that pervades through all. In Adi Shankaracharya's Ardhanarishwara Ashtakam, we picture this form. On the one side, golden, with lovely hair and the delicate tinkle of anklet and bangle. On the other side, shimmering camphor, matted locks, and the king of snakes wrapping around. These verses were choreographed by the great Padma Vibhushan Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra, legend of the Odissi style of classical dance. He combined his talents in dance, music, pakawaj, percussion, painting, sculpting, and so much more to create masterpieces. Today, this piece will be presented by our own Badri Odissi scholar, Guru Ipsita Mahapatra. This piece was recorded especially for this banquet on the chilly shores of Lake Michigan by her student, Colin Mascarenas, celebrating the singularity of life in all its divine forms, Ardhanarishwara, in the classical form of Odissi.
फणी नुपुराया
Very nice.
Hope everyone's enjoying the program as much as I am. Throughout the rest of the program, we will be introducing some very special people, and we will invite them to share their experience with us. What makes them special is the fact that they attended Bal Vihar, graduated, remain connected to mission, and they continue to inspire and motivate so many more people. Our first speaker is Dr. Aditya Dholakia. Aditya started Bal Vihar in 1986 and graduated in 2000. Aditya has also served CORD, which is Chinmaya Organization for Rural Development, under the guidance of Dr. Kshama Maitre, affectionately known as Kshama Didi. He now has a family of his own, and professionally, Aditya is an interventional GI specialist at Edwards Hospital in Naperville, Illinois. Welcome to Aditya.
Hari Om. Pranams to Swami Sharanananda and Swami Sarveshananda, and also pranams to my Dadaji, whom thanks to Zoom, I can actually see in Baroda. And thank you all for the opportunity to speak tonight. It's a real pleasure. In the next few minutes, I will hopefully convince you why donating to Chinmaya Mission is without question in both you and your family's best interest. I will hopefully convince those who are not thinking of donating to give just a little. To those who are on the fence, to jump into giving with both feet. And to convince those who are already giving to give even more than you thought you could or should. I will hopefully convince you that there is no greater cause you can conceive of to donate to than Chinmaya Mission. So to get started, it is easy to make the argument that Chinmaya Mission creates in us and our children a strong sense of cultural identity, as well as lifelong friendships. You already know that from your own personal experience, and I can also tell you that from my own experience. This, of course, is important, and in and of itself, a cause for your monetary support. But it is not the only reason, and certainly not even the most important one. Because being now a parent myself, what is it that we truly want for ourselves, and more importantly, our children? Success, resilience in the face of adversity, to cultivate compassion for others, but above all, we want for ourselves and our children to be happy. Life has always been about the search for happiness. This search for happiness and the discovery of truth, which is ultimately Chinmaya's actual spiritual mission naturally and will make you passionate and, above all, unshakably happy. I would argue that this search for what is most important in life is far better taught at Chinmaya Mission than any other type of school. Therefore, it makes Chinmaya Mission just as valuable, if not more valuable, than any other school there is. The knowledge passed down through the teachers and acharyas at Chinmaya Mission is a time-tested system and a sure to ensure that those that are within its walls are more likely to face the world with a clearer, more confident understanding of it. Obviously, this has been a challenging year for all of us. As a physician, I have seen the full scope of what this pandemic can do. It is through the foundational teachings I received through Chinmaya Mission that allows me to face my environment without a trace of fear, only a willingness to serve. On a personal note, and as a result of my physician duties, I myself contracted coronavirus months ago. For 10 days, I was barely able to leave my room due to intense muscle aches and fever. However, it was at that time that the words of sages such as Swami Chinmayananda were invaluable. I am not the body, nor am I the mind, he says. Rather, I am only the awareness of those things. And a funny thing happens when you practice this. Where there should be suffering, even in those moments, there can be a sense of calm. With that spirit, your donations are used to teach that very highest ideal, which, as you know, we call Sat Chit Ananda, or truth, knowledge, bliss. That lofty notion is what is on offer, and with your support is achievable for all of us. Therefore, with that in mind, as I mentioned at the beginning, can there be any other greater cause you can conceive of to support or donate to than Chinmaya Mission? In contrast to donating to any other one specific cause, instead you are donating to a powerful system for good, a system that allows its members to positively influence everyone they meet and support many other worthy causes for an entire lifetime. So in essence, your donation today would be the most effective use of your money to this world. So to those who are hesitating to donate, I urge you to donate whatever you can towards that highest ideal, both for your children and for your own personal development. For those who are going to donate with your heart, meaning whatever number pops inside your mind tonight, consider giving even more, using your heart. I promise, from my own personal experience, you won't regret it. We truly appreciate the support. We need it now more than ever. Hari Om, and enjoy the rest of the night.
Mirabai, the 16th century mystic poet, celebrated her love of Krishna through songs that stay with us today. She sings of dancing for him, wearing anklets with bells made of love, and honoring those who love him. At the Gangotri Center, they are singing these same songs, practicing so well that their individual recordings, each done separately, come together in perfect unison. Mirabai's Shri Giridhar Aage Nachungi by the Gangotri Swaranjali group.
I will now be introducing our next speaker, Supriya Lopez Pillay. Supriya Lopez Pillay is a mother, writer, and philanthropic executive based in Oakland, California. Her professional work over the last 20 years has been grounded in racial, economic, and gender justice movements, both nationally and internationally. Currently, she is the executive director of the Hidden Leaf Foundation, dedicated to strengthening inner awareness for the sake of building a stronger, more aligned progressive movement in the United States. Supriya has been able to lead by melding her own inner journey and radical politics with the recognition that authentic purpose arises from a spiritual place. Supriya's fiction and journalism have appeared in various literary journals and mainstream press, She is also a published writer and is currently a nominee for the 2021 Pushcart Award. Supriya holds a BA in Anthropology and Women's Study from Washington University in St. Louis, as well as a Master's in International Affairs from Columbia. She grew up as a Bal Vihar child from the very beginning of the mission in Chicago. She was personally very close to Pujya Gurudev and was also mentored and guided by Dr. Kshama Didi. Welcome, Supriya.
Hari Om. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to speak. Pranams to Pujya Gurudev, to Swami Sharanananda ji, Swami Sarveshananda ji, all the aunties, uncles, and Chinmaya Mission families here today, to my friends and to my parents. What a delight it is to see Aditya, who I grew up with, and to later have my friend Anjal also be part of this program. I send my greetings here from Oakland, California, which is on the territory of the indigenous people known as the Ohlone. Many of you are zooming in from the Chicagoland area on the lands of the indigenous people known as the Kickapoo, the Peoria, the Potawatomi, the Miamia, and the Oseti Sequan. It has become more and more part of the practice in my work and activism to recognize the original people of this land, on whose land we live, and to whom we owe great reverence. Someone I once loved gave me the advice, never talk religion and politics among company. Many of you have also received such advice, including from perhaps your own parents. And yes, in fact, it was my own father who probably said that first to me. And if you know me and you know my father, neither of us well follows that advice. Much of my life, what I care about, what I dedicate myself to, resides in the realm of spirituality and politics, and where the two come together. As a young person, I was introduced to the principles of Vedanta and a philosophy of Hinduism through the writing of Swami Chinmayananda ji. I still remember very clearly Swamiji imploring upon us to consider what it means to be a citizen of a country. What is freedom? What is license? It was through texts like Kindle Life and the Art of Man-Making that the ideas of nation building were actually introduced to me alongside principles of the Gita, of ways of being, of living and understanding the world. You know, imagining myself at the age of 7 or imagining children at the age of 7 or 8 being introduced to such concepts, it felt way over my head, but I can tell you, I still see many of those words as they were written on the page, underlined and re-underlined from reading and rereading. To grow up a child of immigrants in this country is to be, in a sense, between worlds. And I know I share that sentiment with immigrant parents who miss the home they come from, the cultures that grounded them, and the people that knit them. While many of our Indian ancestors actually did arrive in the 1800s to help build the railways linking the east and west of this country, many of us are more newly arrived, hailing from the world's largest and possibly most complex democracy, India, to another in the United States, in waves stemming from the 1960s to the present. Here, we sought home. Institutions are required to build inclusive democracies. Institutions are required to establish a pathway for the generations to come to find that bridge to home. And in many ways, the Chinmaya Mission in Chicago was and is that for many of us. I had the privilege of growing up here with many of you as my surrogate parents and brothers and sisters. I was lucky to be exposed to the variety of cultures, foods, traditions from throughout the Indian diaspora. And we were all bound by a common purpose and a deeper spiritual study of self and the community. The lessons of Gurudev and our study into Vedanta hold the lessons of tolerance, co-living, and building this pluralistic democracy at this time. We so often connected the dots between Gurudev's interpretation of text to that of the lineage which stemmed from Swami Vivekananda. I recall considering the commonalities across faiths. How many of us in the ashram itself were practicing Hindus, but also came from lineages of Jainism and Zoroastrianism, and how we connected to the more dominant communities in which we were situated here in the United States, the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims. It is through Swamiji that I learned of Swami Vivekananda's march from the north to the south of India to spread empathy and love, to expose the fallacies of the caste system that divided the country. Someone I consider a mentor and who embodies the practices that we engage in at the mission, Dr. Shema Matre, has dedicated her life in the name of the Chinmaya Mission to spreading this love and empathy. Today, we see so many fissures and fractures in the world, And right here at home in the US, here in California and Illinois, across lines of race, class, and gender, and yes, even insidious and pernicious notions of caste have imported themselves here as well. And the antidote to those fractions that are tearing our common humanity apart are places where children can learn their faith, their traditions with compassion and a rich understanding for their fellow human beings. So much of what I share here takes us into a headspace. Gurudev taught us through his writing and introduced us, many of us, through his text, a rational way of understanding spirit. This is important and perhaps the pathway for many of us. However, there's another very important component to why places like the mission are important to our connection and legacy, to the sustainability of our presence here in this country. It's the heart and the spirit place. Along with the reading of text, the study of the words that is so vital to our understanding, which Swamiji voraciously provided us, is the global community that we found ourselves entrenched in, rituals which bind us. The mission provides a space of collective and individual contemplation, the rare ability to go inward with others, to connect with something far greater than the minute speck of who we are on this planet. And then to recognize that this precious life that we have, this gift, requires of us to do all to serve for humanity's greatest potential. My father asked me to speak today about my experiences and the importance of the mission on my life. And I come here out of reverence to Swamiji and to the community which raised me. And I come here today because I love my father, who worked tirelessly alongside others, including my mother, from the basements of many people's homes to a simple ashram, to this space where we have honored and revered God, our traditions, recognized the births, the marriages, and the deaths of loved ones. I'm proud of the community my parents helped build with all of you, a community that through its brick and mortar structure, through its programming, have solidified a place for the generations to come, to call home, to build compassionate children, responsible and engaged citizens, and to strengthen that bridge between spirit and our deepest and greatest purpose. I know this is a fundraiser, so I ask you to give with the long-term vision of the world you seek for yourself, for the next generation, and what it takes to build the institutions needed to meet that vision. Thank you. Hari Om.
From Yamunotri, Srimati Poonam Mahesh, dancer, teacher, and choreographer of the Bharatanatyam classical dance style, has created a celebration through music and dance. Swaras, or musical notes, combined with joyful dance steps, all in praise of Ganesha, Muruga, Parvati, Mahishasura Mardhini, and Shiva. Recorded on the Yamunotri stage itself, her students Jayalakshmi Ganapati, Sankirtana Ravichandran, and Anokhi Amara present Swara Shloka, choreographed by Guru Poonam Mahesh, founder and director of Nrityanand Performing Arts.
Hare
That was beautiful. Now I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, Anjal Chande. Anjal graduated Balvihar in 2003. She is a choreographer, composer, writer, teacher, and performer who innovates and introspects through multidisciplinary dance. In 2007, she founded Soham Dance Space, a nonprofit arts organization in Chicago, which she leads with an expansive vision of the possibilities of Indian dance and creativity at large. She is a recipient of the Chicago Dance Makers Forum Lab Artist Award, and she recently returned to the States after researching urban arts communities in Berlin, Germany, through the US Fulbright program. Welcome, Anjal.
Hari Om, everyone. My pranams to Swamiji, Swami Sharanananda ji, and Swami Sarveshananda ji. It is such an honor to be here and to be invited to speak. I wanted to share that, also, first of all, I'm seeing in this room, or I've been seeing over the course of the evening, so many faces with whom I have spent many a satsang over the years. And so it's such a delight to be in company with families and aunties and uncles and fellow chicks that have supported my spiritual journey. I wanted to share that, yes, I have been a part of Chinmaya Mission since the first grade through graduating Balvihar in 2003. I was involved in Chick thereafter. Also was a Balvihar teacher for a year, which was a really great experience. And even was able to host the Chick study group at my dance studio in Chicago for many, many years. So Chinmaya Mission has very much just kind of filled the spaces around me. And today I am here with a particular task to tell you all to give to Chinmaya Mission very generously. And what better way to sort of reflect on the impact of Chinmaya Mission than through this opportunity to give and pledge a generous donation on my part. So I wanted to tell you towards the end of my little share about my pledge this evening, but I wanted to first start by just saying, how has Chinmaya Mission impacted me? And when that question is asked, so many things kind of bubble up very effervescently, and I can kind of probably spend hours sharing. I wanted to say that Swami Chinmayananda and the organization of Chinmaya Mission has really, for me, emphasized that it's not important what you think, but it's important how you think. And I think that has been sort of an underlying takeaway for me in how I live my life. I think Chinmaya Mission as an organization, as a community, as a group of people who are intentionally building a culture. It is a culture and a community of inquiry, of valuing, inquiring and questioning and investigating. And I feel like to sort of have that playground in your upbringing, the playground of inquiry, the playground of asking questions, the playground of looking deeper at everything we do and how we do it and how we think about how we do it, that was perhaps the most influential sort of playground or space of development and sort of building my holistic personality. And I cannot thank Chinmaya Mission for kind of setting me up, I think, for a very fulfilling life. Because I think when we're set up to think about how we're seeing the world and how we're interacting with the world and what is the art of right contact with everything that it is we do, there is just so much more opportunity for fulfillment and for peace and for agency. I wanted to also reflect on how Chinmaya Mission has been, not just a place for solo individual self-study, but it has been a place to build relationships with so many other seekers. So to build relationships with like-minded folks feels like such a privilege and a gift of an opportunity. As we know very well in this world, you can go to various places and you can build relationships with people who are trying to learn a particular topic. You can build relationships with people who are trying to, acquire material wealth. And there are so many sorts of people in the world, but what a gift it's been to have the Chinmaya Mission community, where I have been able to build relationships with seekers, with people who are looking into the most subtle aspects of their life, with people who are yearning for a greater bliss, a greater peace, a greater meaning. And I think that those relationships have been very powerful and very transformative. As Supriya mentioned, to be kind of here with both Aditya and Supriya. Aditya was someone he was a few years older than me, but we were in the same tabla class all those years after Balvihar together. Supriya has always been such a role model and a mentor to me, still in my professional work and beyond. And these are relationships, these are just two of countless hundreds of relationships really that I've built through Chinmaya Mission that have kept me supported, kept me strong, and also kept me in the company of like-minded people who are interested in building a deeper relationship with themselves and with the world around them. I think that another way to describe what that feeling is, and sort of the atmosphere of Chinmaya Mission over the years, is to use the phrase radical love. And I feel like the kind of unconditional love, the kind of, as Swamiji had said earlier, what it feels like to look into someone else's eyes and see that joy, and to exchange that sort of joy and kindness and tenderness in the community and in the time we've spent together. I feel like that sort of radical love has really built such a strong foundation for me, and then has therefore inspired very much how I hope to interact with all those I encounter in my own life. I also wanted to share that what I find so beautiful about Chinmaya Mission and the upbringing, the opportunities to reflect on our faith, is that there is such a diversity of seekers that are coming together here. People from so many different backgrounds, but then so many people who have a different Ishtadevata, for example, and I think for myself to sort of grow up with my peers, some of whom found Lord Rama as the one that resonated the most for them, and to sort of share kind of, what is important to you around Ram Navami, and for me to share what is important to me around Shivaratri, and to know that there's such a diversity of practice and a diversity of temperament, and an opportunity to essentially build a relationship with our own faith and with God and with the divine, and to know that we can sort of personalize our approach to our faith, and that is the power of it, because then it can become so much more integrated in our lives. On that note, I wanted to just reflect also on the idea of ritual. I feel like, especially in today's world, there's this, and as Swami Chinmayananda has so often reflected, there has been a sort of misunderstanding around ritual, or a sort of rote relationship with these practices. And I think that I have, through Chinmaya Mission, and because of Chinmaya Mission, and because, again, of the space to question, to find meaning, to receive such beautiful answers from so many of the acharyas, I have become so in love with ritual. And I find that to be in a position where, whether it is an actual Vedic ritual that you're participating in, or the simple rituals of brushing your teeth every morning, I think it is largely because of Chinmaya Mission that I have been able to infuse so many of these practices with meaning, and with the philosophy that accompanies those acts. I wanted to say that one thing which is so nice is that Swami Sharanananda ji has always been just an email away. So even though I'm 36 years old, I'm several years outside of Balvihar, and I'm not always at the ashram, and then I was living abroad for a couple of years, I have always been able to just email Swamiji and with any information. And when I was in Berlin for a bit, Shivaratri was coming, and there's no place to go there. There's no way to celebrate. And I wanted to conduct the puja on my own at home, and to be able to simply email Swamiji and have him so generously find time to send me sort of the 108 names of Shiva, the Namavali, and the puja vidhi, and for me to then be able to put that, make what I could of that on my own in Berlin, was such a powerful example, I think, of the ways in which Chinmaya Mission has built this access to wisdom and the wealth of knowledge and relationship to our scriptures. So having said that, the last thing I just want to say is that, with ritual and routine in this particular pandemic moment, we're all here stuck at homes, and maybe sometimes we attach meaning to a lot of the things we do in the external world. But what does it mean to now look at the tasks that we're doing, of making our beds, of washing our dishes, of cooking the meals, of being in this one particular space, and activating it with so much more purpose. And as we've learned many times, we've reflected on that there's no greater or lesser action. It is really about how we infuse a certain kind of intention behind any one action. And I think that this pandemic moment of being at home and being sort of hyper aware of these sort of routine and mundane actions, I feel like the wisdom from Swami Chinmaya Ji and from Chinmaya Mission as a whole is really so potent and present in this everyday life that we have. With that, I want to remind everyone to just give so generously, give all that you can. My husband, Samir Mirza, and I would like to pledge $1,000 for today's fundraising cause. So I hope that continues to create momentum behind all that Chinmaya Mission does and all the lives that Chinmaya Mission touches. And thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be able to reflect. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. This was wonderful, Angel. Thank you so much. First of all, I want to offer my pranams to Puja Swamiji and our respected Acharya-ji, and greetings and Hari Om to all of my friends here. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are about, we are approaching the end of the program, but I'd like to, first of all, say something about the three speakers that you just heard. All of them belong to this group we call Setukari group. The Setukari, just by the literal meaning, Setukaris, they are the bridge between the older generation that is currently working at the mission and the generation that is going to come next later on. That is the CHIK group, the Chinmaya Yuva Kendra group. The Setukari group that we just witnessed are the people who are actually building a bridge for us to really communicate things to the younger generation in a manner that they can understand better. And you can see the Setukari group is extremely well-versed. They are well-groomed. They are now, well-established in their professions. And at some point, they will take up the responsibilities that we take here, we currently employ, and they are perfectly capable, as we can see. So this is the unique thing about Chinmaya Mission, that it continues to impact not just, all we hear about, of course, is the Bal Vihar, but just see the impact that this Bal Vihar children who at one time were my students 20 some years ago at Badri, and now become, well-groomed, well-established, holistic people who are actually going to take over this responsibility of running Chinmaya Mission. This is the beautiful legacy. This is the beautiful gift that Puja Gurudev has given to us. And this is something extremely unique that Chinmaya Mission has that many other organizations envy us for. So this is all because of the legacy that Puja Gurudev has left behind. And that's why it is so important that we continue that, passing that message of Puja Gurudev in a manner that our future generation continues to be inspired, be motivated, become responsible members of the society, and contribute in a very positive way. So please do your best to contribute as much as you can. And we want to thank you for all the different ways that you have donated so far. So we had three primary ways to make your donations. The first one was, as you have seen, many of you have registered for this event. So that is registration. The second one is through putting through the advertisement for the businesses or for the services that you provide, or sometimes just to wish well to Chinmaya Mission. You've given us a advertisement in our souvenir book. So that actually tells me that many of you may have already seen on our webpage many of our sponsors. Also, there's a flip book that you can take your time to look at, and you will actually be getting e-copies of. Please do consider these sponsors or these advertisers as the ones that you can possibly to use it, in the future for your services. They have been extremely helpful. And then the last one, of course, has been donations that many of you did prior to the event, and some of you actually are doing it now. So we are extremely thankful to all of you. Please continue to donate. We just have a few more minutes left, but this is a very impressive number, and we are extremely grateful for all of you for coming forward and being generous for this particular event, and also looking for the future and looking for ways for us to continue to serve the community in a very meaningful way. So I think my wish and my hope is that before the evening is over, and perhaps even before the year is over, this web page will be open for some time. We'd like to really hit 300,000. So with your help and with your charity, with your open heart, we will hopefully get there. So please continue to donate, continue to support us, continue to come and be part of Chinmaya Mission, be part of our family, and we are very, very thankful to you. I'd like to pass on for the final vote of thanks to our Secretary of Chinmaya Mission Chicago, Sri Arun Malhotraji. So with that, my pranams and Hari Om to all of you.
Hari Om. And it's a unique event this year because we are meeting virtually, and so many people have come on and joined us in this event. That shows that all of you appreciate the values of the Chinmaya Mission that it imparts to our children and to our adults alike. So thank you for joining us, and all the audience, and also the advertisers who came aboard and donated, as Ashok Bhatia ji said, substantial amount for this work to go on. So thank you very much. And special thanks to the IT team, the technical team, which worked tirelessly behind the scene to make this event successful and as much as possible seamless. So we thank them, and they work behind the scenes for the technical and also the book that you will be receiving by email, and is also on our website. Thank you to them. Special thanks to Anju Ram, our high school student, who helped editing the videos that you saw, and also she spent hours trying to do that and stitched the videos together. Thank you. All the cultural program participants who came aboard and presented a wonderful program for all of us. So I appreciate their help and their performance also. Finally, my thanks and pranam to Swami Sarveshananda ji, who helped us with this and gave us a insight into the celebration of life, how we can be helpful to others around us. So thank you to Swamiji as well. My pranams to all, and my thanks for participating in this event. Thank you very much. Hari Om.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय। ॐ पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।
Please stand and put your right hand on your heart.
We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve in harmony, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false ourselves, within and without us. We live honestly, the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume, and giving more than what we take. We seek the Lord's grace to teach us the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May God's grace and blessings flow throughout the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities, give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.